Good evening, everyone. To each of you, a very warm welcome. This is a really special occasion. We're very grateful to Thomson Geer for their generosity in hosting our thank you event. We want to ensure that you as donors feel really appreciated, and we're also going to showcase some of the programs that you've been supporting. My name is Louise Burton, and I'm the CEO of the Sisters of Charity Foundation. First of all, I'd like to make an acknowledgement to country. We acknowledge the First Nations people and traditional custodians of this land. We respect, value, and honour their history, cultures, and spirituality. We are committed to standing in solidarity and to actively work for justice, peace, harmony, and stewardship of this land. Here we are in this beautiful setting, and as you can say, it's just magic, isn't it? You could be flying somewhere on your little jet. So we're so grateful to the team at Thomson Geer, and particularly to Brooke, who is Brooke Glastonbury, who is the partner who is actually hosting tonight, and for your championing us, the foundation, across the firm. And it's lovely to welcome Jodie, for another partner from Thomson Geer, and of course we have been supported by Cassie, and of course we all know Julie. Julie has been a great support to the foundation over the last few years in some of the work we've done. So let me hand over to Brooke, who's just going to say a few words.
Thank you everyone for being here tonight. We welcome you on behalf of Thomson Geer. It's a very special occasion for all of us, and also for the foundation to say thank you to their donors, and also congratulations to all the recipients of the scholarships. We're truly proud to have walked alongside the Sisters of Charity for many, many years, supporting their mission and being continually inspired by what they do. It's an unwavering dedication to helping those in need, and we're absolutely delighted to be part of that along the way. This evening is especially meaningful for us. It's the third year that we're hosting this, and it's an absolute privilege that we're involved with it. We get to support the foundation and the extraordinary work that Louise, you and the team and the foundation do. So thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of it. We also want to thank the past and current donors. The efforts that you put into the foundation would otherwise not make it or allow it to work. Thank you very much, and for giving the opportunities to some of the scholars tonight, the past ones, and the people who are still receiving the benefit of your donations. So thank you, thank you, thank you. For the evening, enjoy the evening. Last year's event was absolutely wonderful. Learning about all the different journeys that you all go on will be absolutely amazing, and so thank you for being here. Enjoy the evening. I do have to apologise that I do have to depart very early because my son's 21st is tonight, and I would be a very bad mother if I was not part of the dinner celebration, so I'll be here for a while and then I'll leave you be, but enjoy the evening. Thank you very much.
I mean, what a star to give up and let us have it on the night of your son's birthday. We're very grateful. So thank you, Brooke. We're really, and really this night is all about you, our donors, our supporters, and showcasing what the foundation does. So we're actually going to showcase 4 of our programs. So we have 4 speakers here tonight, and let me come and introduce them to you. And so on my left, I have Lala Noronha, and she is the General Manager of the Kogarah Storehouse, and she's going to talk about receiving a community grant, which is, you've had a number of community grants from the foundation over the years, which is fantastic. And Kim is a recipient of our Tertiary Scholarship Program, which she received in 2022. And now she's actually progressed to doing a master's in teaching. Like, wow, can you believe it? And she's just on placement as well. So like she's come from placement just to see us, and we have seen you thrive in the last few years, and we're very proud of you. So thank you, Kim, for speaking tonight. And then on my side here, I have Elijah Buol, who is the new CEO of the Asylum Seekers Centre. OAM. Elijah is a person that I know the previous CEO, who had been there in that role for many years, gave you her blessing when you took on the role, because she had witnessed the great work you have done in advocating for asylum seekers, but also for youth as well. And from your own experience, you understand as being an unaccompanied minor coming from South Sudan. So Elijah, we're delighted he's going to talk about our partnership with the Asylum Seekers Centre, and Sister Suzette Clark, who's a Sisters of Charity. Sister Suzette has been a very strong advocate for the whole area of supporting people in relation to their human rights, in relation to modern slavery, at a national level and an international level. And she'll also speak about the program, the partnership that we have with the Salvation Army. So welcome, Sister Suzette, and thank you. And also Sister Suzette wears a few hats because she has been on the previous Congregational Council, and also she's currently a board director. Is that true?
Several hats, but only one face.
So I think we'll just start with Lala. And we were very, very lucky because Estelle and I a few years ago came and visited you and in action. And it was one day when you were actually handing out support to the community, where sort of the food supplies, etc. And we were just blown away by the capacity of your program and how you've really made a big difference. And I think what we also noticed was there were a lot of people who were coming up to the to receive, food parcels, etc. That what I would have called the working poor. There were people from the hospital in Scrubs, and this is 2 years ago, and those people were needing additional food. So would you like to tell us about the Kogarah Storehouse, which is located in St George, and it's been going since 1992, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Kogarah Storehouse is a very busy center, and we have like a few programs running in the same time. So one program that is our main program that funded by Sister of Charity since 2017 is the food programs. So the food programs has two components. So one component is free grocery distribution, and the second is the community and volunteers lunch. And every Wednesday we have lots of people coming in to queue for the free groceries. However, like lately, the demand is become so high and so is overwhelm us. So we have to put the limit into the numbers, because since COVID, as you know, all of a sudden during COVID, the numbers are double up, and we thought by 2022 the numbers will going down, but it's not. So, and during COVID, we have the funds from the extra fund from the government for COVID, during COVID emergency. But then after that, we don't have that support anymore. So we rely 100% to the Sister of Charity Foundations in that time. So now, when the times are going so hard with the living costs at high rankings and more people coming into us, we can't put the doors open all the time, because then at the end, we could not give the quality food parcel to the family. So in one stage, when we didn't put the limits of the numbers, we can only give 2 eggs for one family for 1 week, that's not right. So then we have to put the numbers, a limit of the numbers. So the limit is 135, where all the family can get like 6 eggs and 1 liter of milk, and all the necessaries, vitamins and nutritions and all that. So now we have 135 every week. However, we have lots of groups coming into Kogarah Storehouse. So we have like a Nepalese group, we have Indonesian group, we have Mongolian groups, and we have Chinese group, and we have Bangladeshi group. So So all this group has a different needs too. So they also have an access to our food program. So all together, the whole week, we will be distributing for about 200 parcels. And then on top of that, we have a special needs parcels from the hospitals. Yeah, so we also have like another program called this Women Support Program. So that Women Support Programs, we have workshops and we have domestic family violence support groups. There also, all these groups are accessing our food programs. So I think in that time, it's very hard for us if we don't have the support from the Sister of Charity Foundations. I think your organization is our lifeline since 2017. And we try to survive ourselves. We try to open the charity markets and all that. But the demand of the needs of the people and what we can provide is not matched. So we still like relying on your organization to support us. And yeah, on behalf of the Kogarah Storehouse, I would like to say thank you so much for your support and your visit. And then you can see firsthand what we're doing. Yeah.
It was really special, Lala. I think Estelle and I worked very hard that day, didn't we, Estelle? And we were sort of like, you know, people would sort of say, can I have a little bit more bread or can I have a little bit more? We just go, yes. You know, I don't think we followed the rule book, but anyway. But I think what was really special, like you were saying, you've got many different cultural groups that you actually endeavoured to meet their cultural needs with sort of the foods that they prefer.
Yeah.
Which is really, it's giving them the dignity that they want.
Yeah.
Need.
I think this is what the Kogarah Storehouse is all about, because we understand their needs, so we understand their we know how the cultures like the system that they have, so we understand that, so that's why I think they feel safe to come to us.
Yes.
And they feel like this their second home for so many.
It's amazing. What about, what we also witnessed was that you were collaborating with lots of other organisations, and I mean, I think there was even the police sometimes refer people to the Kogarah Storehouse because they see people and recognise that they're in need. So you've got a good community engagement, haven't you?
Yeah, I think we collaborate a lot with other local organizations. It's because we identified the needs of all these people who have a special needs, and then so instead of we doing another or organizing another group, so it's better for us to collaborate with all the other groups that is already existed, and they can come, and then we invite them to come to our center, and then we support them then together. Yeah, so we collaborate with Moving Forward, with Advanced Level City Service, and also many workshops that we run through the Department of Health and all that, yeah.
Lala, can you give us an example of someone, obviously de-identified, that you've sort of supported recently, and how you've sort of been able to support them back to, you know, living more independently, ideally?
The story of a client?
Yes.
Yeah, I just changed the name, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, if I translate it, her name is Beauty, translated to English. Yeah, so Beauty came to Kogarah Storehouse a few years before, and then she just left about with 3 young children in the primary schools, and the oldest one is year 6. And in that time, she ran away from horrific domestic family violence. And since then, so she went through the case management and all the support that she needs. But the basic needs, so we're still supporting her until the end. Like she has decided, or during the journey, she decided she wants to become a nurse. She wants to get back to the community, and she said, I think I'm capable to become a nurse, and she wants to be a nurse. So then we help her to apply for the nursing course and all this, and then so she went to the nursing, study nursing, until she finished and she graduated. So she invited us to the graduation and all that. And so today she became the flying nurse.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
she became the flying nurse.
Australian-
And then if you see like the confidence, the empowerment, and the children now become young adults. Yeah, and so only one left in high school, year 7, but the rest are so young adult. And you can see that the confidence that she has and all the guidance that we went through together. And she always reminding their kids to go back to the Kogarah Storehouse. And even herself now coming back to Kogarah Storehouse, and she helped with the charity markets and all that. And she said that the journey that to come back and to give is part of healing process. Yeah. So I think this is the story that we can share.
Yes. That is amazing. And I mean, it's getting people on that road to employment and with qualifications, and obviously that's what Kim will talk to us about with her, studies. But it's sort of, that guidance that you've given her, that confidence, and the family, and they also feel as though the Kogarah Storehouse is a sanctuary for them, which is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going back to what your purpose is to help others, to help someone who hasn't got anything. And we don't want them to be always in the dark and staying in the darkness, but we wanted to pull them out and then, hey, this is the light, you can just be there. And I think at the end of the day is we not just giving food for them to survive, but we giving them hope.
Yes.
And we give them future, and we give them future for their family. So I think that's the main thing.
And Lala, you've had so much experience that your wisdom taking it to the program must be very beneficial, because you've seen, the different ways of having to cope with sort of the COVID experience and now the cost of living experience, etc. And it's interesting with our community grants, we're just in the midst of doing them, the part of the panel are here. And I would say at least close to half of them are sort of for people who are experiencing disadvantage or homelessness. So, and that's across Australia, and that's 77 grants. We had the largest application for our community grants program this year. We had 237 applications from right across Australia of small organisations like yourself needing that assistance. And I think the great thing about the scholarship, about the community grants program, which is sort of the cornerstone, the sisters are very committed to the community grants program, is that we've now actually increased our grants because we recognise the demand so much. So instead of just used to give like 10 to 15,000, we now give 20,000.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. So it's a real reflection on the current climate, and we're very grateful for the wonderful work you do, Lala. And so thank you.
And thank you for your support. Like without you, we wouldn't be able to support all these people.
Thank you. You're very committed. Okay. So now I'm going to talk to Kim. Have you got a mic? And we've, as we said, Kim is part of the Tertiary Scholarship Program, and the Tertiary Scholarship Program has been going since 2012, and over the time we've had 33 students graduate from across Australia, and that's from University of TAFE and Vocational College. And at the moment we currently have 38 students, young people who've been in and out of home care, who are actually at University of TAFE across Australia. And so we're very proud of the program. It seems to be quite unique, and I know we've got particularly many donors here who are committed to that program. And I'm also indebted to Estelle Muller, who's the program development manager. She's sort of like the backbone. She's sort of the person that the students go to get sort of support. Is that right, Nakim? You can ring her up and she'll give you some guidance and help you, whatever. So Nakim is, as I said, was awarded the scholarship in 2022 and to study a Bachelor of Arts, it's a pathway to teaching at Western Sydney University. And now you're currently doing a master's program. and you anticipate to actually graduate next year.
Yeah, next February. So I have 2 more units. Oh, do I have to use the microphone?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was like thinking, does my voice project out or not? So I finish next February, so I'm currently in my final placement. I just came from teaching to here, so yeah.
So why did you choose teaching?
So I chose my specific degree because it was a Bachelor of Arts pathway to primary, so majoring in primary teaching and psychology. I was in that point in my life, I wasn't sure whether I was set on teaching or transferring to psych degree. So I found that to be a really kind of flexible degree. And then towards the end, I kind of chose to do teaching. Mainly, teaching has always been something that has been like in my mind. Ever since I watched, I don't know if you guys know the movie Matilda. I really resonate with that movie, and I really liked kind of like Miss Honey kind of teaching style, and hopefully I kind of embed that. I'm kind of like a mix between Miss Honey and Miss Trunchbull, because I have to be, because you have to be firm. So I'm kind of like, I understand both. So yeah, mainly a passion for teaching. I have a really like nurturing side. I also have, I've discovered I have a really firm side as well. But it's all due to love and care. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So now, Kim, tell us about when you actually found out you received a scholarship. How did you feel and what did it mean to you?
So when I found out I won the scholarship, I was actually really shocked. I was experiencing imposter syndrome because I wasn't even meant to apply for the scholarship, but there was a really special person at my high school who surprisingly saw something in me and was really like, was emailing me at night constantly, like, you have to apply, you have to apply. And I was just like, I won't get it. Like, there is nothing really like of substance to me, so I won't get it. But when I got it, I was like, oh my God, like, they saw something in me. When I told my grandma, it was actually probably the like most special moment with like between me and my grandma. I think she's always been really proud of me and always has wanted me to like do better since I live with her. I've been living with her since I was in year 7. And just seeing her joy and her kind of like look of relief as well. But she's always, when we started like, you know, when I started living with her, she's still a pensioner, obviously taking care of 3 children, you know, so sporadically, that's so financially draining, financially hard. So personally seeing her happy made me happy. Yeah.
And I mean, you obviously, when you were going through school, you obviously inspired some of your teachers because I think you were a recipient of the Harding Miller
Yes,
scholarship.
I was. Yeah, some surprisingly twice. Someone saw something in me, and yeah, so it's been amazing. The scholarship has really drastically changed like the trajectory of my life. I'd say before receiving the scholarship, I kind of like was in a really dark place in my life. Obviously, going through a lot of trauma and like just a lot of adversities in my life. I was kind of like at a crossroads of like not seeing much hope, but the scholarship definitely kind of opened that up for me. It was kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel. Not to get too sappy, yeah. It was really an amazing thing that happened to me. I'm so grateful for the scholarship and all the donors that have made this happen. Yeah.
So tell us about placement. Now, what do they actually get you to do when you're on placement?
So I've been on, this is my 2nd placement, so my placements have been all 6 weeks. I'd say the first placement I had was really difficult. It was a lot of like adjustment and like a learning journey, as well as like the kids that I had, they were lovely kids, but just had a lot of you know, behavioural issues. And like I understood that because I was one of them. I kind of saw myself through them as well. I'd say in the 2nd placement now, it's been actually surprisingly really good. I was really scared to have year 5 because I'm not much of a speaker and I'm not much of like a dominant person. No. Like I'd say as you know, year 5 and 6 they respond well to males. With females, they see this like feminine nurturing energy and they kind of like, you know, take advantage of that a bit. But anyways, yeah. But I've been like a bit like firm, so I've been actually doing really well. So placement just really involves like, do I just tell about the day? Like how it runs?
Great.
So usually I wake up at around 6:30 to 7, quite early. get ready, go to placement. Right now, my days mainly involve 2 lessons a day, so it's like a gradual release kind of structure to placement. Eventually, I will transition to whole day teaching, but I technically have been doing more than I should. Because my mentor, he's really calm and chill, and I think because he trusts me, I've been doing like almost the whole days sometimes, which is a bit odd, but like, love him. He's so supportive. He would tick my final report regardless if he thinks I'm good or not. So I say that's a win-win for me. So it's mainly just teaching. Like teaching is like having so many different kind of careers in one. It's a teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm a friend. I'm a social worker. I'm a psychologist. I'm everything. I tie their shoelaces, even though they're year 5.
Oh.
I do their hair. I'm doing plaits almost every day. I'd say anything, all the other careers in one basically. Yeah, and then by the end of the day, I always have to take a 30-minute nap because I'm so flat out. I'm so flat out. It's a 30-minute nap. Generally the day goes from 8:30 to 3 to 4, but I'm doing lesson planning for a few hours every day. It has been a bit exhausting, but because I've been enjoying it so much, I actually love it. Like some weekends, I have Saturdays off because I'm working retail on the weekend. So I had a Saturday off and I had nothing to do. And I was like, this is a bit odd. I should be doing something. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. You're going to be the best type of teacher, aren't you? But you're going to be firm, aren't you?
Yeah. Surprisingly, kids like it better when they have routine and structure and they have someone that's an authority figure. So I realised the kinder I am, the worse they are, the less respectful. But when I put in the boundaries and the consequences, suddenly they're literally chasing me down at lunch wanting to talk to me. So it's really reverse psychology, honestly, yeah. I'd say if any parents are here, be firm. Be firm, I'd say.
So you really are going to be quite strict, are you?
I would say I'm a balance between nurturing and kind, but I think a part of being nurturing and kind is also understanding, giving those kids boundaries and consequences, because that's the real world as well. Yeah. I'm not strict in the sense of yelling. I'm just quite body language, kind of try to assert my authority a bit, and where I have to, where it's necessary, I will be more firm.
Oh, so you get the eye from the
kid. It's the body language. It's the body language, really. It's I'd say being quiet is really scary. You just kind of sit there and and they all kind of understand what's happening. Yeah, I'd say it's really good.
I mean, it's such a beautiful profession being a teacher, and obviously many of the sisters, because the Sisters of Charity obviously have many schools. Yeah. So, are you sort of thinking you'll do upper primary school or?
Originally, I've always been a very big fan of stage 1 and stage 2, just because they're so cute. When they're not, when they're irritating you, it's it can be kind of reasoned because of they're cute. But then recently, because of my experience with year 5 and 6, I can actually have conversations with them. So then that's why I've kind of I think I'm gravitating towards year 5, but I love all stages regardless.
Yes. And when you become qualified with your master's degree, I gather there's a bit of a trend now that you need a master's degree. Does that give you more leverage to get the job you want?
I'd say so. Definitely, when an employer is looking at my resume, probably seeing that Masters of Teaching is quite desirable, I'd say. Especially now, it's actually surprisingly quite competitive, especially to get certain roles like permanency, even temp jobs is actually quite competitive. I recently had to submit a expression of interest just to be a casual, so it was really interesting. But hopefully, I have high hopes that I'll get a role at this school, and I really love this school, and it's close by home, so I'm really excited. Yeah. Before this placement, I was thinking, no, I just need a break. I'm just gonna do casual. But then after the last few weeks, I've been so happy, even though I'm tired. I'm so fulfilled. So I'm really excited to just jump straight into full-time teaching. Yeah.
And Kim, you've got siblings, siblings, and do you practice some of your teaching skills and ability on them?
But kind of. My sister's older than me, so she's like 24. She's also a teacher, but I'm teaching her a lot of things too. Yeah. No, it's because I'm a bit more ahead of her in like my degree. So she's constantly asking me, how do I get accredited? How do I do this? How do I do this? So I guess there's some sort of teaching role there. In terms of my brother, he's younger. I don't really teach him. He's got his own little degree going on. He's doing Bachelor of Criminology. Yeah. So it's really good. I would if they were younger.
I thought they were younger. Oh, well, you've just really inspired us, and we love your aspirations, and we can't wait to sort of follow you in this lead. All right, thanks, Nikki. Wow, you did a great job. Great job, great job. All right. Elijah, over to you. And I mean, Elijah has been the CEO of the Asylum Seekers Centre now for just since August, so not very long. And he was working mainly in Queensland and in settlement services and for youth and for refugees. And you really, you were local Queenslander of the Year, and you've got an OAM, and you came to Australia as an unaccompanied minor, so you really do understand how tough it is because you came from South Sudan. And so, I think that a lot of people don't realise that when asylum seekers come to Australia, they come with actually nothing. And they have no support networks, they have no Medicare, nowhere to live, no income, or particularly the right to work, and limited access to essential services. And you're in a very vulnerable situation, aren't you?
Yes.
The Foundation has partnered with the Asylum Seekers Centre now since 2014. And we were offering safe housing and wraparound support during that time. And now we've entered a new 3-year agreement, partnership with the centre, which provides rental assistance, access to emergency housing, crisis payments, and complex casework. That's correct?
Yep.
And so I am going to ask you a few questions.
Yep, thank you for going.
So Elijah, just tell us what it's been like coming into this new role, and particularly someone with a lived experience.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also, like, on behalf of all our client and staff at Asylum Seekers Centre, I'd just like to say thank you to the Sisters of Charities, because I think you're not only meaning your word of hope, compassion, but also putting that into real practice. And I think that's really befitting the practical assistance that you provide to us. So we thank you and all the donors and supporters, because, humanity requires a global village, and you are part of that global village that extend the hand to those who need the support the most. So thank you very much. To your question, look, this role, as Louise mentioned, I was that part of generation born in Sudan then, and now become part of South Sudan, born in war, and I was born in the war time, and I grew up seeing war, the challenges that come with displacement, and for me, that resulted to me losing my mom when I was 6 years old, dad when I was 9 years old. But it's tough, isn't it? But really, what is important there is the hope. Sometimes we wake up in the morning and think, I don't know how this day is going to end. Some of us get annoyed about the coffee they buy at the shop, at the cafe. But really, it's about the hope that we carry along. And that hope cannot be realized without the support of people around you. So I relied on the mercy of those who really willing to hold my hand, during those times, when I was 6, then, lose dad when I was 9. Then went to refugees camp in Uganda, where I spent 8 years there, as a refugee, came here as an accompanied minor, and this is really a great country. But one thing that is really very critical is that many of asylum seekers or refugees, they came here with nothing, and I arrived with nothing, but the only thing I have was hope and aspiration. And that's what I see the center every day. Sorry. But at the center, that's really what we see. We sometimes talk about numbers, But these are the people with aspiration and hope. And you are the people who build that. So at the Asylum Seekers Centre, this role is close to my heart because I understand the challenges that those people who really seeking asylum go through, because being in refugees camp for 8 years, is something that I can really understand when we are delivering services. But also the other part of me is I'm a message as well. I'm part of that. But also I'm a messenger. Because being a CEO, you have also to be a messenger of the vision of the organization. So at the Asylum Seekers, of course, we've been there for 32 years. And I think Sisters of Charities have been there from the days of offering us, a residential house, the Barala days, you remember that beautiful house where we house asylum seekers up to today, and you hold the hand of those people seeking asylum. You journey with us along that journey, and that's what drives me every day. So I may not have some days or have a snap, but I always have days of joy to just see that the society is there standing in solidarity with people seeking asylum.
So tell us about the services that you've got at the Asylum Seekers Centre, because people wouldn't realise how all-encompassing it is. You've got employment, and you've got lunch and learn. I read about the other day.
Yes.
For language.
So at the Asylum Seekers, we offer wraparound support, and that is started with employment. So there are certain categories of people that the government decide to say, look, these people will give them work right. And these people live in our society. So we give them the skill to be able to get work and contribute to the economy, but also support themselves. Because getting employment is not just about income. It's about identity, it's about connection, it's about the purpose of, for us to give back, but also that fabric of the community to contribute. So we do employment support, of which we do partner with employees, people get, different skill level. We also offer casework because a lot of these people come with complex need, and we need to guide them and give them goals and to be able to really get those aspirations, but also through hope to build those with them. We also provide, we have a health clinic. And if some of you are doctors here and you thought you have a time, please come and volunteer at our, clinic. So, and that clinic is run by volunteer GPs. And that volunteer, one in particular, Dr. Mark Harris, has been a volunteer there for 25 years. Wow. And he does it with humor, with compassion, and that's really the support. Sometimes we think about the dollar value, but sometimes we can also give people hope with our time. And that's really very important with our clinic. Of course, we got some funding from the state government to employ 2 nurses that support and do assessment and support them. But also we do have a great partnership with St. Vincent de Paul private hospital, which is also connected to the sisters. And I think that's really, they do imaging and waive the fee because those people cannot afford. They have no work right, they can't work. So the bills, I got one person now got $20,000 bill to pay because he has no income. So we are working through to see how we can support him. But that's really one of the great service we have. We do also have, lunch and learn, and that is really to give people skill, but also share meal. And when you go to that center is not just a welcoming or a place where you can have lunch. It's a place where connection are built, where community is built. And that center, you smell the beauty of Sri Lankan curry, or either you smell the nice taste of the Papua New Guinea, they call it kakawa, which is sweet potatoes. And also you smell, you look at the rice from the Persian rice from Iran, and it's all this really, it's about building connection, but also give them a pathway to be able to get job. And a lot of them get certificates, and then after 7 weeks, and they go and do job. But it's open 5 days a week. Easy on Wednesday because a lot of food happen there and people come. But it's open 5 days a week to give people access to meal as well. So as people pop in anytime to get frozen meal in the fridge. But the other thing is also English class. We offer also technology and computer literacy. I just got a call last week from Australian Super saying, I got 400 computers, laptop in Melbourne. Can you come and pick them up? And I say, can you pay the bill? I'm ready to take the. But yeah, we are taking those ones to give to families and children who really go to school. We also run community connection. People also need to participate in the community. And even if they don't have walk ride, they also need to connect to social group where they can go for a walk in the morning or, take the children together in the park, which is really very critical for us. But other thing that we also do a lot of the work is also advocacy, because the voice of people seeking asylum matters. And it only doesn't matter without us standing with them in solidarity and highlight those challenges that they face. And that's really a very critical work. And some of you might have seen my face in the last 4 weeks on the Australian papers, talking about the challenges facing people asylum, including last Saturday on the Saturday paper. And that's really the work we need to continue to do, to highlight those challenges. But of course, the great thing that I think is important in that center is not only that the service we provide, but the support that we get from the society, from people like you who give to Sisters of Charity to drive that agenda of compassion and hope. And I think that's really, we should be proud of yourself. You should give yourself a clap. Happy.
So Elijah, could you just give us a story of, obviously de-identify someone you've been involved with and the pathway you've been able to assist them along recently with the Asylum Seekers Centre. Can you sort of share a story?
Yes. As we talk about our busted lunch on Wednesday and learning. So we have Diane, who is a single mother who went through domestic violence, and through the support of Sisters of Charity, we were able to provide them those crisis accommodations and financial support, and that helped her to settle, find a safe space, where she can feel safe and live. But also through the casework support, which you funded, she was able to identify the goals of saying, I think I need to go to school. And then through that process, we managed to support her, and she get protection visa. We give her work right. So she's now enrolled in Certificate 4 in community service. And of course, going through doing placement. At the moment, she wants to do placement with us. She's still a client, but she wants to do a placement with us. And we gave her that opportunity because one of the things we're passionate about is how do we alleviate the voices of people with lived experience, the people seeking asylum, to give them the opportunity. And at the moment we exempt her, she's doing work placement with us, but also she's working as a support worker, gaining income for herself. And that has built her confidence. It gives her, the identity, which we all sometimes take for granted. We complain sometimes about work, but I think it's very important. And also, she's really taking care of her child, and she feels safe. And that's wraparound is what it is. It's about how do we allow people to rebuild their life. And she is rebuilding her life and very happy with what she's doing.
So what's your hope for the future for the centre?
That's a big question.
I know.
And I love that question because I think one of the things I believe is the sense of hope. Because sometimes hope, it whispers in different ways. Sometimes it tells you, you matters. Others matters. It also tells us there's tomorrow. It also tells us, aspire for the better. So for the center, our hope and my hope for the center is to be able to be a center that is continue to support people seeking asylum in a sustainable way. And that cannot happen with me and without you. We all together, and I always love to go and door knock and ask people. So I'm one of those, I think, I know there's some people here who will see people say, can you write a check? So I will go around saying, can you write a check for me? But really, this is about sustaining the organization to continue doing the great work that we do. But also, it's more about also strengthening our voices, advocacy, so that the system can also be compassionate as you are. And that's really very important. And it cannot happen unless we share those stories and work together with the people that really highlight the need. Sometimes people will call me and say, Elijah, you're supporting people who are really living on our taxpayers' money. And I tell them, zero. But that's my goal. I actually want them to get your tax dollar. And sometimes they get cranky, that's online. But that's the reality of it. We need to strengthen that. But also other thing that we do well at the center, and the example I gave is more about empowering the lived experience. Because I think these people go above and beyond where they're given opportunity. I'm here the CEO today, but I came with nothing. But because the society has given me that opportunity, whether a teacher will come in the morning at 7 a.m. to say, I'll teach you English, or whether a neighbor who will come and check on me, and I remember we were 7 unaccompanied minor boys living together. And the only thing we know is in the supermarket when we came, chicken and meat. So we go to buy the rulers. Then one day our neighbor came, what are you eating, boys? And we said, chicken. And she like, oh, great, smells nice. Then she came the following day, chicken. She like, no, something is wrong. I'll take you to the shop. But really it's more about the society holding the hand, and really that's really something that we do very well in the center, to empower those people to have a voice and to empower them to feel welcome, because Asylum Seekers Centre is a place of welcoming. It's a place where hope really flourishes. It's a place where compassion is shared, because if you go there every day, it's run by volunteers. So we have 500 volunteers that do the work every year. But we only have 32 staff. And that's really show the level of how the community is very supportive. People like Mary, who put her time on the board, doing a lot of work to help out. And thank you, Mary, for the contribution that you do to us at Asylum Seeker to keep that center running. So, last year alone, we supported 4,600 people. And that includes, paying crisis, accommodation, support those people. Even last week, during the last weekend, last month of public holiday, one lady rocked up with 2 kids, walked at our doors with her bag. And she said, I have nowhere to live. I ran away from domestic violence. And it was Friday, so we are going to long weekend. And I have to tell one of my staff, say, find a hotel and put her there until Wednesday when we return from holiday on Tuesday. Then we will talk about what the next step. But that's what we deal with every day. It's about the crisis support that you give. So thank you.
No, thank you, Elijah.
And I know Sister is here, you're waiting and say, Elijah, when are you finishing?
No, but what I have to say, when Sister Suzette was with me, and some of the team, we were really impressed by the number of young volunteers you have. And they obviously are quite critical of, and analytical of services. And, if they're volunteering, they actually really obviously have a passion. So you're educating the future generation about the importance of supporting asylum seekers and refugees in the right way.
Yes, and in the center, if you go there, we will have what we call support unit, and where volunteers and those students will come down and sit down with people. People will come with photo IDs. They want to apply for photo IDs from New South Wales government. They also want to lodge their application for business. They are working, they want to lodge tax return. Those simple things that sometimes we take for granted. They want to make sure the Opal card is top up, because that's another thing. They can't come to the center unless we pay some money into the Opal card. But imagine how much? It's only $10 a week that we can afford. And it's a barrier because they can't come to the service when that $10 run out a week, and we cannot afford more than that. So it's really they live on that, they've been pushed into that poverty line. But young people are really, the future is bright for the humanity. Because a lot of young people who are doing work there, they come from university, the young people who really see their parent volunteering. Like last week, I have a group of kids from the Jewish community came and said, Elijah, we want to come and participate and volunteer, and they are really coming this weekend to do cleaning the center. And the young people so passionate about the cause, regardless of what, they are really passionate about serving and support the community passionately. And that's really, and I say, they came with their masters and say, yep, definitely you the first people I'll put on roster because I can see the picture.
Well, thank you, Elijah. And there'll be lots of opportunities when we break to have another conversation with you, and I'm sure people have other questions. So
Definitely, answer a question, because the question you don't ask is the one that,
yeah,
Great.
so when we're mingling, that'll be great. Well, thanks,
Yes,
Elijah.
sister? I think someone say, you're going to sit next sister, she will be punching you, and I say, oh, Tom, I'm curious, but no, she hasn't done that yet.
Oh dear. Well, she's well behaved, but she is a fierce advocate for people who have been caught up in modern slavery, Sister Suzette Clark. And as I said to you, she has been a former counsellor of the sisters, the congregational leadership team, and she's currently a foundation board director. She's at a national level, she works with ACRAF and at a state level. And I think it's really important for people to realise that most people aren't aware of the whole situation of modern slavery, that it does actually happen here in Australia. And it's interesting that the global slavery index of 2023 estimated that in 2021 there were at least 41,000 individuals living in modern slavery in Australia. So it's quite frightening, really. And if you think it's about 16,000 in New South Wales. So what is an example of modern slavery? It includes migrant workers being paid minimal wages and working long hours, fruit pickers being underpaid on rural farms, women trapped in domestic servitude, and there's been quite a lot in the media the last few years about this, child brides being forced to marry by their families, and child labour in its worst forms. Also, human trafficking is another form of modern slavery involving the forced movement of people for the purpose of exploitation. So, over to Sister Suzette. She was professed as a Sister of Charity in 1969, and as I said too, she's on many social justice committees nationally and internationally, but I think one of the most important ones is the Australian Catholic Religious and Against Trafficking of Humans, which is ACRAF, and which is sort of tell us, Sister Suzette, about your commitment to this area and why the Sisters of Charity are committed to this area globally.
Thanks, Louise. Now you know how old I am, so you understand why I have to have notes. In 1838, 5 Sisters of Charity arrived here in Australia from Ireland. Our foundress, Mary Aikenhead, had been asked by Bishop Paulding of Sydney to send some of her sisters to Australia to help women convicts, specifically in the female factory at Parramatta. So prison ministry has continued to be an integral part of our fourth vow, service of the poor, right through until today. So just think about it. Prison, taking away someone's freedom. Slavery, taking away someone's freedom. So it's a continuation of that particular ministry.
Can you tell us about your particular work in this area, Sister Suzette?
Louise mentioned ACRAF, Australian Catholic Religious Against Trafficking of Humans. Next month, ACRAF celebrates its 20th birthday. So let's go back to 2005. People were becoming aware of women being trafficked into prostitution and some other forms of employment. The now Professor Jennifer Byrne of UTS, not the journalist, had founded the Anti-Slavery Australia. And meanwhile, the Union of Superior Generals in Rome had asked leaders of Catholic religious congregations to address the sexual exploitation of women and children, especially the trafficking of women. And so a movement had started. Just to put it into perspective, you know, the three major money-making activities for criminals are drug trafficking, arms trafficking, and human trafficking. And at this time, really the three of them were vying as to which one produced the most money. So, big money and sadly a lot of criminal involvement. Jen Byrne presented a submission to the United Nations and a recommendation came out from the United Nations to all governments, including the Australian government, that they do something about this human trafficking. And hence ACRAF began. I can remember around, I think it was 2006, by this time ACRAF had commenced. There was an awareness of human trafficking and the government had been instructed by the UN to take it into consideration. So Canberra have what they call round tables. So they called the first round table on human trafficking. And so several interested parties were a part of this round table back in 2006. You had the politicians who were responsible for that particular area, whatever it came under, the Federal Police, the Salvation Army, the Scarlet Alliance, that's the Sex Workers Union, and ACRAF, and a couple of other organisations which I've forgotten the names of. At that round table, the Federal Police said that by their estimation, they thought there were about 100 trafficked women in Australia. I don't think I'll ever forget. Jennifer turned to me and she said, well, they must all be my clients. Fortunately, much has happened since then. The Federal Police have a specific department for human trafficking, and they do amazing work. The Scarlet Alliance, the Union for Sex Workers, with the police, have helped clean up brothels. And now we know that trafficking and slavery isn't just about sexual exploitation. As Louise mentioned, there are migrant workers, fruit pickers, domestic servants, cafe and restaurant labourers, child brides in forced marriages, clothing factory workers. A lot of people, a lot of trafficking of humans, a lot of slavery, even here in Australia. Internationally, the Sisters of Charity have engaged with Talitha Kum, that's the International Women's Congregation's Committee Against Trafficking. a similar international group to ACRATH, which is Australia. Unanima International, which is made up of Catholic women's congregations throughout the world, which has UN status and so is able to actually present submissions to the UN. And then, most importantly, our founding congregation, which is based in Ireland but has sisters in several countries which experience great trafficking, including Nigeria. And so our two congregations established an alliance in this endeavour to eradicate human trafficking and modern-day slavery. Okay, ready for the next question?
Well, I think you're just about to talk about it. The program that the Sisters of Charity have been supporting now since 2020 is a partnership with the Salvation Army with sort of providing transitional housing. But as you will have seen in this incredible housing crisis, we've had to modify the model more recently, working with the Salvation Army. And I think in the last year there have been 6 survivors of modern slavery who've been supported, and we're looking at different versions of housing to provide that sort of security. And just to give you some casework hours, which is pretty impressive, the Salvation Army have given these survivors over 3,750 casework hours for just this last year. So, yeah, so. And it's really so important to work in partnership, isn't it? Like all those partnerships that you are actively involved in, Sister Suzette, because, you know, working with the federal police, working with, you know, Jennifer Byrne and her team, because they have a major legal team who are looking at sort of compensation for survivors of modern slavery, because, you know, they haven't, you know, what they've been through. And I'm sure some of you would have read in the paper, there was this case of a lady who was caught up in domestic servitude in Melbourne, and it's been in the media, that she, I think she had diabetes and she was sort of caught up in domestic servitude, and her health has been so badly affected that she's now in aged care at the age of 65. Like, you know, horrendous situations that you don't believe happen.
And our hope is that victims of slavery can become survivors. And so we support the Salvation Army to provide a safe place to live and wraparound services which enable these people to regain their independence and, more importantly, their sense of self-worth. And then eventually, through these wraparound services, they're able to move into accommodation and find employment, all with the assistance of the Salvation Army.
So what would be your final message, Sister Suzette, to
You're
the
going to
audience?
regret asking this question.
Well, I mean, we definitely need a greater awareness, don't we? I mean,
We do. It's not just about modern slavery, is it? It's really about everything that has been talked about here today and all the other programs that we engage in. I've had the, I suppose, the grace, really, the gift, to come into contact with an author called Megan McKenna, quite literally within the last few days. I've been listening to a talk given by her. And in it she says, the poor tell us who we are. The prophets tell us who we can be. So we hide the poor and we kill the prophets, or at least silence them. And I thought of this when My friend here was talking about people seeking asylum. What are we doing to people seeking asylum? Sending them off to Nauru. I am so grateful to each of you here for your generosity in supporting the work that we do. And maybe there's another step to take. What's the invitation now? Can we focus on the person, not the label we put on them? Can we notice people? Notice them as they are in the reality that they are in. And especially the reality that I certainly find hard to look at. Homelessness, domestic violence, war, poverty, suffering. The story of Dives and Lazarus in the Gospel. I don't know what sort of person Dives was or how he got all his money. But what was his sin against Lazarus? He just didn't notice him. Lazarus was at his gate, but he just didn't notice him. So maybe that's the invitation for us, to notice the people around us, to acknowledge their presence, to be aware of them, maybe even just to look at them and to greet them. End of sermon. To finish with Mary Aikenhead, may each of us be faithful in doing our best to keep alive peace and goodwill. And may each of you know the loving embrace of our God and be blessed in the generosity of spirit that you have. Thank you.
My goodness. Thank you, Sister Suzette. I mean, you've left us with so many messages, and it was lovely to have a quote from Mary Aikenhead, because I was going to share one as well, because I felt that Mary Aikenhead said that let us have that charity may abound in our hearts. And I think, like the people here today, are so evident that in this room we have generosity, kindness, this thoughtfulness and caring. And stepping up to support these programs that have been showcased tonight to make an impact and a difference, a real difference. So I really want to thank our panellists tonight. They've really shared great honesty and about the real insight into their work, which is really quite remarkable, and you can understand why the Foundation is very proud to be able to support them, but thanks to your generosity. So I hope that you'll take this opportunity to speak to them individually. And remember all those beautiful messages they've each shared with us. They've been inspirational. Sister Suzette, there were plenty of key messages there from you and as Elijah, as well as Kim and Lala. So thank you for sharing what your great work you do. We really admire what you do, and we want to continue to support you, and we want to see you all thrive in your work. So thank you and congratulations to our panellists. And please make sure that you mingle and take the opportunity to speak to